my rifle and hadn't chambered around. So it clicks. And that bull got up and just turned and like came and boom, knocked me over. Like coming at you like, head down, horns down like a bull, head down, horns. And he punched me in the ass with one of his antler tines. And I thought it punctured me. So I ran away and Callahan shoots the moose down. And I keep reaching around to feel where he had popped me so hard in the ass and knocked me over. And my hand keeps...
I goes, you got charged by a fucking moose.
Yep.
All right? I saw it. I saw you get hit by a moose. I watched it 5 times.
Yeah.
That was you describing it was harrowing, but watching it was way crazier. When that fucking thing got up and started running towards you, even though I knew you were okay, I met you after the fact. I was like, oh, he's dead. He's fucking dead.
No, we met. Yeah, we met well before, but that was you know you don't know enough TV. Like that was what I did was so stupid that you'd want on one hand. It was so dumb what I did. And I'll tell what I did in a minute. But what I did was so stupid that you'd want to then hide how stupid you were and not have it be on TV.
Right.
But on the other hand, but it's compelling TV.
Yeah.
Like a guy getting run over by a moose is interesting, you know? So it's your thing of like your ego where, and now I'll tell what happened. We were calling, Ryan Callahan.
Yeah. I love Ryan. What a great guy.
We were calling moose, and when you call moose, that's excellent, but pinch your nostrils. That's the cow. Yeah, that's a cow saying, "I am coming into estrus."
Woo!
And
party
calling is moose calling is effective right before the rut, right before the breeding season, because bulls know what's going to happen. Like the cows are going to want to be bred, and I'm going to breed them, but the cows haven't really got rolling yet, so it's just all anticipation. If they were actually all doing it, and the cows are really in estrus, and the bull's with the cow that's in estrus, he's going to be less likely to come to one calling.
So it's all a timing issue. You got to catch him right before.
Yeah, he wants it. You're the first. He's like, there she is, first cow to come into estrus. I'm going to go get her. So we're out. Ryan's mimicking the noise of a bull, or I'm sorry, mimicking the noise of a cow. And what inspired him to begin doing that is we heard a bull, and a bull makes a noise like this. A bull will go.
So that's all you heard.
It's like you don't even hear it, you feel it. It's a suggestion of a noise. It's like, you kind of, everybody's like, what was that? But it's very hard to determine where it was. Not where, it's hard to determine how far away. And we heard that, and then we debated for a long time whether we'd heard it or not. We're like, no, I know I heard a bull. Then it actually started to thunder a little bit off in the distance, which made it even more confusing, because it was like, was it thunder or was it that, noise? So Ryan starts trying to lure the bull to us. This is out in British Columbia. He starts trying to lure the bull to us by roaming around making cow calls. And he goes away from the bull, and I stay put, hoping that the bull will come. And he's going to want to see her before he gets too close. So by Ryan staying about 75 yards further away, the bull might hang up in the vicinity where I'm at, while he's trying to get a visual lock on the cow to make sure everything looks safe. And we keep calling and calling. And then I'm starting to think I was going crazy. I never heard the bull in the first place. So we start going in the direction. Eventually we start moving in the direction where we think the bull is. And sure enough, I see some brush clashing, and he's in there rubbing his antlers on some brush. And Ryan starts calling. And now we're in his zone enough where he's coming to investigate. And he's coming in. And he kind of comes at me, and I do like a really stupid thing where I take what you call a brisket shot. And a brisket shot on a deer or a wild pig is devastating. You're coming in like the sternum. And is devastating to the animal, a small animal. But on a moose, there's just so much, it's like layers of bricks and stuff, or like basically what the front of them made of. And he goes down, and I go running over there, and sure enough, he gets up and starts running. And I'm worried, like the last thing you want to do is chase a moose, but I'm worried that maybe he's not bleeding enough. So I start running after him, and I get up there, and I catch up to him, and he's laying down again, and I go to shoot him in the neck, and click, I had messed up my rifle and hadn't chambered around. So it clicks. And that bull got up and just turned and came and boom, knocked me over. Like coming at you head down, horns down like a bull, head down, horns. And he punched me in the ass with one of his antler tines. And I thought it punctured me. So I ran away, and Callahan shoots the moose down. And I keep reaching around to feel where he had popped me so hard in the ass and knocked me over. And my hand keeps coming back bloody. So I'm trying to feel where he put a hole in me, and I'm thinking that he'd punched a hole through my waders and into my ass tissue. And but then I realized that I got blood all over, and because I'd hit him in the brisket, so when he ran me over, he smeared a lot of that blood on the back of my clothes. So that was the blood I was feeling. Scared the hell out of me. And you saw that, like, it wasn't a few days before that I got charged by a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
It was a harrowing trip.
And you're talking about people smoking cigarettes and riding motorcycles with no helmets.
That moose deal was probably the closest. You fantasize about bad stuff happening to you from big animals, you know, like you're gonna get mauled by a bear or whatever. And like what really gets you is little teeny things. Like I've been, like my hospital stuff has been, you know, like serious issues, been giardia, so drinking bad water, and Lyme disease by getting, you know, bit by little teeny bugs that are infected with bacteria. And that's like my real source of trouble. But when I'm laying in bed at night, I'm not thinking about microbes. I'm thinking about big giant animals coming to get me, you know, and that one came and knocked me. In the minute, like it's mixed emotions, because I was reading this book about human history called Lone Survivor. Not Lone Survivor. That's the SEAL story.
Yeah.
It's something like Lone Survivors. It's by a geneticist, a British geneticist. What the hell's his name? Anyways, something like that. Soul Survivors? I don't know. He talks about the suite of injuries that are common to Neanderthal skeletons. Have I told you about this?
No.
So, like, every time they dig up a Neanderthal skeleton in the mouths of caves and stuff, like, one, you find that they've been cut, like their bone, they've been butchered. So they die, and their buddies would, presumably their buddies or Cro-Magnon would had a tendency to go eat them. And they also find all these, like, fractured bones, like busted bones, fractured skulls, fractured vertebra.
Lone survivors.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's talking about this in this book, and these guys kind of got wondering, like, why do they have this type of injury? And they eventually, some doctor looks at the, you know, like the injuries that are common in Neanderthals, and he says, you know where I see that is rodeo riders. And it's like the things that happen to people who are like mixing it up with big critters. And the theory that this guy puts forward, not Sykes, who not the guy that wrote it, was it, who pulled that up again? What was his name again?
Chris Stringer.
Yeah, so I don't think Chris Stringer floats this idea, but he talks about a guy who floats this idea that they had a confrontational hunting style that Neanderthals did. That they were in there, you know, tearing it up. And Cro-Magnons had a little bit more of a, let's stay back, you know, we'll stay back and get them at a better time, you know.
Well, Neanderthals are way closer to the rest of the animals than we are. I mean, they were 5 feet tall, 200 plus pounds, big, thick fucking bones.
You know what else he says? Is that they didn't have a lot of sexual dimorphism. The males and females were much more similar.
Really? Well, they probably had
Yeah, females were in there hunting more.
Probably had to be
Possibly.
survive.
Yeah, they weren't, like, just structurally the females were similar. And so having that little run-in with that moose was kind of, I felt like a little bit, in a positive way, I felt a little bit like maybe like it was like a Neanderthal experience. But the Neanderthal thing is weird, man, because they find out like all these things that we used to think they didn't do. There's like evidence that once they came into contact with Cro-Magnon, it was like they started picking up some of the things that they were into. Like there's evidence to suggest that like that they had been around for, you know, hundreds of thousands of years, and all of a sudden dudes show up, like we show up, and all of a sudden they kind of got interested in decoration a little bit, got interested in art a little bit. I mean, it's a theory, you know, that they were somehow interacting with us and were kind of like stealing our groove a little bit.
Well, I mean, you think about all the things that we use: guns, computers, this table. We didn't build any of this shit.
Oh yeah.
We figured it out from other really smart humans.
Yeah, you adopt, and so they were
Yeah.
kind of like came into. Somehow it was going on, and there was some introgression. He talks a lot about that in that book. That he argues, and other people argue that this isn't the case. The argument there is that there was certainly some introgression.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've also heard that it's a confusion, and that what it really is common ancestry.
Yeah, I've heard all that. So I'm not definitely, you know, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm not the guy, like you do the same. Like, I'm saying what some people say.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
some people say that, and it's an interesting idea, and all that stuff changes so fast. I always hate to be like, well, this is what it was, you know, but
You're talking about, you know, what is the most recent version of Neanderthals? 100,000 years? I mean,
no, they went out 30, 35.
35?
30,
How the
35.
fuck could anybody know what the hell exactly happened 35,000 years ago? It's too far. I mean,
He explains
what they know so far.
Well, yeah, he explains how the people that have an opinion on it came to form their opinion.
Right. That makes sense.
You know.
Yeah. But for sure, look, I know men, and I know that if men lived with Neanderthals, somebody would have fucked one.
Oh yeah.
I know dudes.
Yeah.
They would do it.
Even if it was sort of like an act of aggression, like you look at conquering forces, you know.
Yeah.
On one hand, they're coming in to conquer people because they despise them, but like conquering dudes will often find themselves, you know, like history's full of those examples, where like a conquering army that's coming out to get like the worst people on the planet, all they want to do is annihilate them, but they also kind of want to have sex with them.